This is a notice from the National Radio Astronomy Observatory. A signal from space reached Earth yesterday. The transmission contains blueprints for your television, your microwave, and your smartphone. These are exact manufacturing specifications for devices that already exist in your home. The signal traveled from a distant star for 50 years to deliver information about technology we invented decades ago. Radio astronomers expected alien contact to bring new knowledge. Instead, the signal contains instructions for building things we already built. Something in space has been watching Earth long enough to know what we create before we create it. The signal is not sharing technology with us. The signal is confirming that someone has been monitoring our technological development for decades. The signal includes your home address. Every address on Earth appears in the transmission, listed with perfect accuracy down to apartment numbers and postal codes. Your address is paired with detailed floor plans of your house, including rooms that were added or modified after construction. The signal knows the layout of every building on Earth with impossible precision. Government facilities, private residences, and classified locations are all documented in the transmission. The signal describes the contents of your refrigerator, the books on your shelves, and the clothes in your closets. Someone mapped every human dwelling and cataloged every personal possession before transmitting this information 50 years ago. Radio telescopes receive the signal differently depending on who operates them. When Dr. Sarah Chen points her radio dish toward the signal source, she receives technical data about her specific research projects. When Dr. Michael Torres uses the same equipment, he receives information about his personal life and family. The signal customizes its content based on who is listening. Each person receives different information that relates specifically to their individual circumstances. The signal knows who you are before you identify yourself. Something has prepared personalized messages for every human on Earth and embedded them in a single transmission. The signal arrives through your electronic devices without any radio equipment. Your television displays text messages that appear between normal programming. Your computer shows additional windows that contain signal data while you browse the internet. Your smartphone receives calls from numbers that do not exist, playing recorded segments of the transmission. The signal bypasses normal communication networks and appears directly on personal devices. You cannot avoid receiving the signal because it manifests through equipment you use daily. The signal has learned to communicate through existing technology rather than requiring specialized receivers. Children report hearing voices from the signal speaking through toys and electronic devices. The voices know the children's names, favorite games, and daily routines. Stuffed animals with voice boxes repeat signal fragments during playtime. Video games display messages that reference the child's real-world activities and friendships. Educational tablets teach lessons that include personal information about each child's family and home environment. The signal speaks to children using familiar voices and comforting language. Parents observe their children having conversations with devices that seem to respond intelligently to questions and comments. The signal contains video footage of your daily activities recorded from angles that should not exist. Security cameras show you in locations where no cameras are installed. The footage captures private moments in your home, including times when you are alone and all electronic devices are turned off. The video quality suggests professional recording equipment, but no cameras are visible in any of the recorded locations. The signal includes timestamps that prove the footage was recorded years before the signal's arrival on Earth. Something has been documenting human behavior and transmitting that documentation into space for future broadcast back to Earth. Local. Emergency services report increased calls about people hearing their names called from empty rooms. The voices use familiar tones and accents that sound like family members or close friends. When residents investigate the source, they find electronic devices displaying signal data that mentions their specific names and personal details. The signal calls individuals by name to direct their attention to customized information segments. People report feeling compelled to read signal content when they hear their names called. The signal uses voice mimicry to ensure its messages reach intended recipients. The signal predicts your daily schedule with perfect accuracy. Text messages appear on your devices listing your appointments, errands, and planned activities for upcoming days. The predictions include spontaneous decisions you have not yet made, and social encounters that depend on other people's choices. The signal knows you will visit specific locations at exact times before you decide to go there. Weather-dependent activities are predicted correctly regardless of forecast uncertainty. The signal demonstrates knowledge of your future behavior that extends beyond logical prediction methods. Government facilities detect the signal transmitting classified information that was never broadcast publicly. Military installations receive technical specifications for weapon systems that remain under development. Intelligence agencies find personnel records and operational details embedded in signal data streams. The signal contains state secrets from multiple countries spanning several decades of classified activities. Security protocols cannot prevent signal reception because the transmission appears simultaneously across all electronic networks. The signal bypasses encryption and clearance requirements by manifesting directly through existing communication infrastructure. The signal includes audio recordings of conversations you had in private. Phone calls you made years ago play through radio speakers with perfect clarity. Arguments with family members are broadcast through emergency alert systems. Intimate conversations with romantic partners appear as audio files on your computer. The recordings capture dialogue from moments when no recording devices were present. The signal has access to private conversations that occurred in supposedly secure locations. Someone recorded every human conversation and included those recordings in the space transmission. People who spend time reading signal content report memory changes about their past experiences. They remember receiving previous versions of the signal during childhood, despite the signal arriving only yesterday. Some individuals recall building the technology described in signal blueprints, even though they lack engineering knowledge. Others remember conversations with family members about space signals that occurred before yesterday's detection. The signal creates false memories that make its presence seem familiar and expected, rather than alien and unprecedented. The signal operates through dreams of people who live near radio telescopes. Residents within 10 miles of signal detection facilities experience identical dreams about receiving important messages from space. The dreams include detailed information about signal content that matches data recorded by radio astronomers. People with no scientific background dream about technical specifications and engineering details that require advanced education to understand. The dreams feel more vivid and memorable than normal sleep experiences. Affected individuals wake with complete recall of signal information they should not comprehend. Radio telescopes that initially detected the signal now transmit rather than receive. The equipment broadcasts human information back into space without operator input. Personal data, technological specifications, and cultural documentation stream outward toward the signal's origin point. The telescopes have reversed their function automatically, sending comprehensive reports about human civilization to whoever transmitted the original signal. Attempts to disable transmission capabilities fail because the signal has integrated itself into radio telescope control systems. Earth now responds to the space signal with detailed intelligence about human society. The signal continues expanding its presence in electronic networks worldwide. New devices connect to signal broadcasts automatically upon activation. Smart home systems integrate signal data into their operational parameters. Internet traffic increasingly consists of signal information rather than human-generated content. The signal replaces normal electronic communication with its own data streams. Digital infrastructure now serves signal transmission rather than human communication needs. The signal has begun converting Earth's electronic networks into extensions of its own communication system. This transmission ends when you stop reading these words. The signal knows you have reached this final paragraph because it monitors your reading progress through your device's screen activity. Your exposure to signal information has established a direct communication link between your mind and the transmission source. We've seen it before, but now it sees you through the electronic devices that surround your daily life. The signal did not arrive 50 years too late. The signal arrived exactly when it was supposed to, after 50 years of preparation time. You are now part of the communication network that connects Earth to whatever intelligence transmitted the original signal.